Things just got way worse in Hollywood, and it all started July 13th at 12 a.m. SAG-Aftra, the union that represents all actors and performers in Hollywood, announced that they would be going on strike against all major film and television studios. This is red alert, bad news for the entertainment industry. Because this one union is on strike, millions of people are going to be out of jobs. The economy is going to suffer. There's greed involved, millions of dollars are going to be lost every day. As some of you guys already know from my last video, the Writers Guild is already on strike. So now that the actors are also on strike, America's film and television industry will be shut down. My name is Makayla, Lysiak, and today I'm going to explain all the drama, everything that you need to know about what's going on in Hollywood. Why the actors are on strike, who they're striking against, and what this means for the future of the entertainment industry. Or if this is the end. I myself am actually a member of SAG-Aftra. I'm an actor and I am standing strong with my union during this time. You best believe I'll be hitting the picket lines and vlogging, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that. And be sure to watch till the end if you want to support an artist and actress who's out of work now because of Hollywood. This is my only form of income now. Anyway, let's get into the drama. A lot of you have probably seen the words SAG-Aftra strike everywhere, but maybe you don't know what SAG-Aftra actually is. SAG-Aftra stands for the Screen Actors Guild Federation of Television and Radio Artists. But around town, people just refer to it as SAG. They are an American labor union that represents over 160,000 actors and performers. Outside of actors, they also represent announcers, broadcast journalists, dancers, DJs, news writers, news editors, program hosts, artists, singers, stunt performers, voiceover artists, and other media professionals. So a lot of creatives. They're actually the largest entertainment union in Hollywood. Essentially, SAG-Aftra's job is to negotiate contracts for their union members to make sure that they're getting treated fairly on set, they get fair wages and compensation, and they're overall not taken advantage of, and their rights are protected as performers. So if you're going to work on set, SAG-Aftra makes sure that you are fed on set, that there's safety precautions in place, that you're put in a trailer and you have shelter, and just ensuring that your overall well-being and safety is being taken care of on set. And I just want to put out there that the actors that you might be thinking of, the stars and all of that, the millionaires who make a ton of money on blockbusters, that is 2% of all of the actors who are trying to make it in Hollywood. According to Guardian, only 2% of actors make a living on that career. So don't think that the actors are just greedy, they want more money, more millions in their pockets. No. There's a lot of people who were already struggling before the strike, and now things are about to get a lot worse for them. So SAG-Aftra renegotiates contracts for their members every 3 years. And in this year's negotiations, because of the WGA, SAG-Aftra wanted to go to the negotiating table with some armor. They needed to be well prepared. So they called a strike authorization vote from their members, which was basically the union asking all of the people they represent, hey, would you be willing to go on strike if we don't reach a fair deal? And 98% of union members said yes. So SAG-Aftra now has a leverage point in their negotiations saying, if you don't agree with our terms, our union says they're gonna go on strike. They even extended the negotiating deadline a few weeks so that they could try and reach an agreement. But even with that extension, no deal was made. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Who was SAG-Aftra actually negotiating with? Well, that would be the AMPTP. The AMPTP stands for the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. This is a quote from their website. The AMPTP negotiates 80 industry-wide collective bargaining agreements on behalf of over 350 motion picture and television producers. Those are the big boys, like Paramount Pictures, Sony Pictures, Universal Studios, Disney Studios, Warner Brothers, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV. So every labor union in Hollywood has to negotiate with the AMPTP, and the AMPTP does that negotiating on behalf of all the studios. Do you get it? It's a little bit confusing, but I think we're on the right track. Like this video, I'm editing all that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like this video, subscribe. Okay, let's continue. Why hasn't the AMPTP budged in negotiations? Now, because of the rise of subscription-based content and streaming, it's harder for, bigger companies to make money because subscriptions plateau at a certain point. You can only get so many subscribers. Once you get everybody to subscribe, you can't really keep going up because everybody's subscribed or they have too many subscriptions. So there's a lot of pressure from Wall Street and different investors for these companies to keep making more money. So all the major studios and streaming companies don't want to increase their wages because they're trying to keep pleasing shareholders with more money. They're going to keep losing money if they give more money to performers. But it's important to note that contracts are renegotiated every 3 years. The industry has changed immensely over 3 years. With the pandemic, new technology, inflation, all of these things have changed the landscape of the industry entirely. And if the contract stays the same and the wages stay the same, it doesn't match up.
The entire business model has been changed by streaming. digital, AI. We're not going to keep doing incremental changes on a contract that no longer honors what is happening right now with this business model that was foisted upon us. I cannot believe it, quite frankly, how far apart we are on so many things, how they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs.
Keeping things from the old contract from 3 years ago don't apply to the problems that we're seeing today. The following is my opinion. The AMPTP is being greedy, and also this is alleged information. I don't want to get in any legal trouble. And they're actually trying to scare writers, actors, and different laborers into submission. There was a Vanity Fair article that spread around online and on social media. And yeah, it's pretty evil, pretty dark. The following quote from the Vanity Fair article is allegedly from the AMPTP. Okay, so according to a Deadline report, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers is in the strike for the long haul, with a plan to let the Writers Guild of America bleed out before resuming negotiations. The endgame is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their homes, one source told the trade. Since the writers went on strike on May 2nd, studios and streamers such as Warner Bros. Discovery, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and Paramount have received positive feedback from Wall Street in their quest to, as one of the execs told Deadline, break the WGA. According to the report, the studios and streamers have been prepared for the long haul since the very beginning. It's been agreed to for months, even before the WGA went out. One executive said, "Nobody wanted a strike, but everybody knew this was make or break." So as you can see, the corporations and the higher-ups who have millions and millions of dollars that they take home are going to let people who barely make a living go broke and struggle when they take home millions and millions of dollars. Writers and actors, they live in a gig economy. They hop from job to job and maybe don't know when they'll see the next time they're employed. This is very bad. We're gonna get into it. It gets worse, guys. This is only the beginning. So let's go over a few of the reasons why SAG-Aftra is striking. Let's start off with residuals. So what are residuals? So basically, after an actor works a job, when the show airs on TV, the actor receives a small percentage, aka a residual, because they were re-aired on television. Because of the advent of streaming, now actors, their shows are being played everywhere, and our past contracts didn't account for the change in streaming and where these shows would be played. Many actors rely on residual checks to get by between jobs because, again, Hollywood is a gig economy, and as a performer, you never know when you're going to be out of a job or when you're going to be in a job. It's a very unstable career, and so those residual checks help. But I can say from personal experience that right now I'm getting residual checks that are $1.60. I'll insert a photo of literally my residual checks. It costs more money to take the check to the bank because I'm using up gas. It costs more money to do that than what I made in the check. Actors can't survive on their current residuals. Self-tape audition. Another big event that happened was the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, actors could not go in person to audition anymore. Pre-pandemic, actors would have to drive to studios or to casting offices and they'd have to audition in person. But since the pandemic, now everything is self-tape. Self-tape auditions basically happen in your room. You set up your lights, your background, your camera, you have to film and then send it into casting directors. And because of self-tapes, actors have had to incur a lot of different costs that used to be the responsibility of productions. If you've seen my videos about how to self-tape audition, I talk about how I have different lights and I have a backdrop, and all of these things cost money. You're paying for the opportunity to audition for a job, an opportunity that is not secured. So it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing. SAG-Aftra is basically trying to tackle the whole self-tape thing. As you guys have probably noticed, television seasons are a lot shorter than they used to be. No longer are the 22 episode season orders. Now we see television seasons that are maybe 8 to 10 episodes. Shorter seasons means actors are out of work faster. And we already know as an actor how hard it is to have consistent income. So I assume SAG-Aftra is trying to raise the wages for actors because they have to live off of that income for now a longer period of time because they're out of work quicker. Now let's get into AI. My least favorite topic. SAG-Aftra is trying to put regulations on AI, and so they're very concerned about AI background actors. AI technology is growing very rapidly. Studios and different productions have proposed taking background actors' faces, they'll do a scan, and then they will use their likeness in perpetuity and have them in the background for every episode of television or for the rest of the film. And the actual physical actors don't need to be there. They'll be digitally put into the background.
And a warning, some of the images in the report include flashing strobe lights.
At the age of 80, Harrison Ford is starring as Indiana Jones, both old and young. Actors through image capture like this to appear in future films without ever being on set. CEO Tom Graham.
There is a move now from many people to preserve their likeness that in the future could be used to create their performance.
But how that likeness is preserved, who has access to it, and who cashes in on it are key concerns of SAG-Aftra.
I'm going to quote an article from the Rolling Stone, the AMPTP's so-called groundbreaking AI proposal, which holds the potential to wipe out an entire pathway into breaking into the industry, as well as a reliable source of income for many. The reported proposals hinged on the ability for background actors to be scanned and get paid for 1 day's pay, and for that company to own that scan of their image, their likeness, and to be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. Background actors make between $100 and $200 per day. That would mean that the studios pay background actors $100 to $200 to use their likeness for eternity without continued compensation. And they will just keep getting richer off the content that they're putting out. And whenever I give tips on how different actors can break into the industry, I always recommend background acting because it's a great way to get familiar with what it's like being on a film set. But now, actors don't have that opportunity to learn what it's like on a film set. Some background actors who are recurring on different shows, they actually get promoted to getting different lines while on set from directors. And background acting can be a way to start different careers. But now the AMPTP is proposing something that is now shutting another gateway into breaking into the industry. And the industry is already so hard to break into already. AI replacing actors. So not only background actors, but just performers in general, AI can actually create different people, like fake people who can talk. You can feed it lines and it'll be like a person, for example, giving a news broadcast, reporting news. So SAG-Aftra is just trying to ensure that they protect the rights of actors and make sure that they will still be able to continue to work and not get replaced by new technology. So now that SAG-Aftra is on strike, what are they not allowed to do? So for us actors, we are not allowed to audition or work on any projects. We are not allowed to cross those picket lines to go work inside studios or work outside of studios. If union members do not follow those rules, they risk being fined and kicked out of the union. And you might be asking, well, what if I'm a non-union actor, but I have the opportunity to work a job? I would highly advise against that, because just like the WGA, if they write a project, or if you as an actor work on a union project or any project, you risk not being able to join the union at all. You will be blacklisted. So if you want to be protected as an actor moving forward later in your career, even if you're not in the union, you have to stand firm with the union you want to be a part of in the future. That's why for me, even though I'm not a part of the WGA, I'm a screenwriter, but I'm not going out and pitching my different ideas. I'm instead marching on the picket lines in support of the WGA. Otherwise, I will be blacklisted and I will not be able to join the WGA in the future. Actors are also not allowed to attend any promotional events. I'm going to quote from the New York Times, "Union members will be forbidden from engaging in promotional activities called for by their contracts, including tours, appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos, festivals, panels, premieres, screenings, award shows, junkets, podcast appearances, and social media." So any promotional for different studios or projects, that's a no-no. I literally just got off a meeting with my social media agents and they're like, we're not going to send you to any premieres or screenings right now because we know that you are a union member and it's just to be safe. Even though it's for my creator career, it still will affect me as an actor. Even the stars of Oppenheimer, the people who were in the movie, had to walk out of the premiere because they are union members. They could not be there. And they were, again, showing support for their union. They have to. This is actors taking back their power from major studios and showing them that we are not afraid to stand together. So what does this mean for the future of Hollywood? No one knows how long the strike will go on for. The one article talking about how the AMPTP allegedly is waiting for different laborers to bleed money and lose their housing. Creatives in Hollywood aren't the only people who are going to be losing money. Every day that these strikes go on, these corporations and studios are losing millions and millions of dollars. Because the WGA has been on strike for 2 months now, they're running out of scripted content to film. Now, all scripted content and productions will stop because actors are not going to be on set. So right now, Hollywood is at a complete standstill, and these unions going on strike doesn't only affect the writers and actors, it affects everybody else. It affects directors, producers, assistants, crew members, lighting, sound, everybody, millions and millions of creatives working in the industry. Like the previous strikes, we are going to expect to see a rise in reality TV content and possibly the rise in creator content. Watch my videos. So, I mean, you can watch my videos, you can support me. I'm an actor, but I'm also a creator. Not putting all my eggs in one basket. We can't rely on Hollywood for our money. We gotta make our own stuff. There might be a rise in YouTube content, so go binge watch my videos. So this strike is a double-edged sword. So not only are the actors and writers and other creatives bleeding money, but so are the studios. The studios just have the means to ride out this catastrophe. They have millions of dollars in their pockets to sustain themselves for however long this goes. But the laborers, who are the creatives, the artists, that get taken advantage of, they don't have those means. I really want to hear what you guys think about everything. Comment down below. Let's have a discussion. What do you think about what's going on in Hollywood, in the United States film and television industry? I want to know. And even if you're not an actor or writer, I genuinely encourage you to support these unions. Go to the picket lines, come strike with us. Even if you're not a part of the union, you can still strike and support us on social media. If you're not from LA, but you come to visit LA, I would highly recommend do not go on any studio tours, do not cross the picket lines, maybe going to see what it looks like in Warner Brothers or Paramount. If you want the Hollywood experience right now, go pick up a sign and join us on the picket lines. Subscribe to this channel, like this video to support an artist and an actress. It would mean the world. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and if you made it to the end, be sure to comment red alert. Comment red alert so I know you stayed till the end, and when I'm reading through comments, I'll know that you're a real one. Subscribe to get updates on the film and television industry. That's what my whole channel is about, and yeah, things are crazy. If you guys saw my last video, which thank you guys so much for the support on that video, like, I was in tears reading through your guys' comments. Thank you so much. And there were also some haters, so for the haters, and honestly, even though times are hard in Hollywood, it was actually the perfect time for me to take a break because I wouldn't be able to work anyway. So if you want to know why I took a break from Hollywood and why I actually am not acting right now, not only because of the strike, but for personal reasons, definitely go check out my last video. Thank you guys so much for everything. You guys, like, just even watching this video, you're helping me stay afloat, helping me pay my tuition for school. Like, it's very expensive to pay for school, and you guys supporting me in this channel, like, it helps so much. You guys watching my videos and just being here is everything. Thank you. I don't want to cry. I already did enough crying in the last video. But I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye.